All right, everybody, welcome back. We are on episode
17.
Oh, before we get started, though,
Yes.
let's get out some. Boom. Do you guys remember the Arsenio Hall show?
Yeah.
Dude, the Arsenio Hall show.
The shake.
Woo, the dog pound. This is
woo,
dog pound. If you
yeah.
don't know what that is, Google it. It was when we were growing up. But I'm so excited. Not only is today episode 17,
17.
but it is also the day
Yes.
that we launched a very important announcement.
Yeah, announcement, event. Yes.
Yes, we announced a very important event.
Yes.
And that is the Loud Book Tour by Drew Afwalo, featuring
The Two Idiot Girls.
the Two Idiot Girls. So if you guys are watching this,
Yes.
it's already been on sale.
It's already on sale.
But if you're not a Patreon member, you're going to want to become a Patreon member of the Two Idiot Girls.
Yeah.
Because we do cool stuff like this all the time that opens up first to the Patreon members and then to the general public afterwards. So we're so excited, you guys.
Very
we're going on tour. Get this. We're going on tour for a month.
For 21 major cities across the U.S.
Yes, we're going to visit 21 major cities across the U.S. And we're going to be on tour in a big old rock star tour bus for a month.
Interesting.
So I'm going to vlog. So you guys got to follow us because we're going to make episodes out of it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to, shorts and,
Sure.
posts and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys are following us on all of our platforms.
Yep.
And we are going to try not to kill each other on the bus for a whole month, man. This is crazy. We've never done this before. We went on tour, a mini tour last year to kind of test the waters to see how it would be received. And we did, we only did West Coast. We did 4 cities along the coast. And we didn't kill each other.
No.
But we also were not on a tour bus.
No.
We were in a van and then we slept in hotels the whole time.
Yes.
So we could separate and then come back together. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Anyway, that in and of itself might be worth its weight in gold.
Seriously.
So anyway, we're super excited and we're so proud of our girls. They're going on
we are.
tour
Proud of the book.
to promote Drew's book. And this book right here. So if we're going to put an image up of it in case you've been living under a rock and don't know what we're talking about. But it's, I can't even tell you, it's a mom's dream, especially if you were the mom and the parents who really pushed reading when they were young and read books and be part of book clubs. And we just love reading.
Yeah.
To have one of your children actually write a book is, it's just out of this world. I can't even fathom it. I've cried a bajillion times. But we're so proud of Drew for the book, and we're so proud of both of them for the Two Idiot Girls tour. And we're super excited. So if you're seeing this and you don't know what we're talking about, we're going to put we're going to link it in our bio, in today's bio, and you can click it and go see if you can come. If you can, amazing. We will be there too. So if you follow us, you might get some hugs. Who knows? Some high fives, some dabs, whatever you call them.
Right.
And I'm super excited.
Same.
Oh my gosh. This is probably dovetailing perfectly with this episode is probably going to make us cry. So strap in. Strap in our little internet children. It's going to be really fun.
Let's dive into today's episode.
Oh, here we go. And the way we came up with this topic is, well, we had a couple of requests, first of all, to talk about friendships and relationships and things of that nature. And then, as old people do, we talk about life, mortality, and we talk about our friendships and things of that nature. And Tate and I were talking about some of the really important people in our lives.
Yeah, we've had quite a few.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot. We've had a lot of acquaintances come in and out.
No, that's what I mean.
But we've only had a handful of really solid, good friends. And actually, one couple of those friends, we just met within the last couple of years. I want to say the last 3-4 years, maybe. And so all that to say, we were talking about what a real friend means.
Sure.
Right?
How did we come up with that?
Yeah, how do we still have the same friends in our lives for years and years?
Sure.
And the other friends, with my finger quotes, come in and out and of your lives, and then you end up never talking to them again. Whether it was you had a bad friendship breakup or you just lost contact or they just didn't don't quite meet the criteria of what you consider to be a friend.
Sure.
Right? So our topic today is basically finding your tribe.
Yeah.
Who is in your tribe? Who is your ride or die?
Right.
Who are the people that you can call at 2 a.m. and the only question they ask is, do I need to bring a shovel? That's it. No questions asked. Or questions. Have you seen those TikTok trends where the daughter will tell their mom, or the mom will tell the daughter, hey, you know, the neighbor down there is giving me shit and they want to fight. So I'm going to need you to come back up, you know, because she has a daughter too. And the little girl does not even hesitate. She just, what? I'm going to put my shoes on right now. Doesn't even ask any questions. Those are the kind of friends that we have in our lives. And those are the kind of friends that we cherish with all of our heart. Would you agree?
Yes. And we know, I mean, they fit a certain criteria within our life at this certain time, right? And they bring energy as we bring back, right? And they help us grow. And
yeah, so those are the criteria that we have, and it sounds from the outskirts, it kind of feels like, oh, you have criteria for me to be your friend. No, relax, it's not like that, but it kind of is.
Sure.
And here's why: no one tells you really when you're growing up who should be a really good friend and what that entails. So. Tate and I came up with a list of 8 things that have all of the friends that we still have in common, and whether they're friends or actual family blood members.
Sure.
These are the criteria that they all have in common. These are the common threads in our friendships.
Yeah. And now listen, it's our
Our friendships.
It doesn't have to be yours
Right.
or anyone else's. Like,
Right.
this is just ours, what we come up between us.
Yeah. And again, the common thread, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to start off with number 1. So when we were talking about this, well, let me read it first. Number 1, when you're falling apart, right? Something crazy in your life is happening. When you're falling apart, your friend or friends hold you together.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say that again. When you're falling apart, they hold you together. Whether it's they or just one person, doesn't matter. And like, I want to go over some examples.
Sure.
Every time we have, you know, a topic or whatever, or a criteria of friendships, I want to give some real life experience.
Yes, me too.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. We're on the same page. So on this one, when we wrote this one down, I immediately thought of Dason. Okay? You guys all know, if you follow the 2 Idiot Girls, or you follow Drew or Dason or both, you know that she had a really bad breakup. And she was with someone for 8 years, had a really bad breakup. But how it all unfolded was supposed to be a joyous time. My amazing daughter sent me a surprise airline ticket to go visit her in New York, because she was living in New York at the time. And my other amazing daughter sent the 2 of us tickets to go see a Broadway show. Now, if you know anything about us, we are Broadway show whores. We love Broadway. And so once a year, and it's usually around my birthday time, the 3 of us will get together and we'll go see a Broadway show. So this year, Drew sent me and Dason tickets to go see Aladdin on Broadway, and Dason sent me a plane ticket to go see her in New York for my birthday, because it's always been on my bucket list. I'm a December baby. I've always wanted to go to New York City during Christmas time to see FAO Schwartz and see, what's the one, the place where the big Christmas tree is at? I don't even remember now what it's called, where you can ice skate and like all that. I've always wanted to do that. So that was what was supposed to happen. Unfortunately, when I got there, her and her partner were in a big fight. The partner went home to be with her family, and then it was just Dason and I. Long story short, within 2 days, I packed up her shit. We put it on the top of her car and inside her car, packed up her 2 cats, and we drove 2 women across the United States from New York back home. Unplanned.
Just
back home in 4 days. And her life was, according to her, and what we all saw unfold, was literally falling apart. When you're with someone that long, that's tough. Tough. But here's what I know. My love for my kid trumps anything in my life. So I want to make sure that she's okay. And I will do whatever it takes, including packing up her apartment by myself, packing up those 2 kids while she cried a lot or slept And in 2 days, we were on our way home. From the moment I dropped down at JFK. And my birthday was ruined by this other person, but that's okay. I wasn't focusing on that. And so I'm the person who shows up and says, I'm going to make a quick decision. Let's fucking go. And so that's what I think about in a friend. When your life is falling apart, that friend doesn't ask any questions, just mobilizes and makes sure that you're going to be okay and starts the healing process immediately. Yeah?
Yeah. So good.
I'm trying not to cry. You guys, this might be the episode where I cry. I don't know. We'll see.
That was a good one.
But that's who you want to be. Yeah. That's what you want to look for in a friend. Someone who is not going to center themselves in your life.
Yeah.
They're going to center you in your life and make sure that they're going to show up for you the way you want them to show up and when you want them to show up. No questions asked, no strings attached. You just show up and be a good fucking friend. And in that moment, I was that friend for my kid, right? And that wasn't just me. It was Drew, it was you, it was Donovan, it was her uncle, 2 uncles, and they all rotated calling the car all the way home because it took us 4 days to get home.
Right.
And everybody, it was like on rotation. Everybody had, okay, this hour I'm going to do it, this hour you're going to do it. And every hour on the hour until we got home, everybody was calling and we would talk about fun stuff, but then sometimes we'd talk about sad stuff and so on and so forth. That's friendship. It doesn't matter if we were family.
Sure. I was just going to say that, whether it's family or not.
Yeah,
that's
right?
it. That's how you basically know who your tribe is. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my real life experience of I was that friend. You know, we all were for Dason. We all showed up for her. So, and then you got a story?
Yeah, I just wanted to share my college football experience because that's what comes up when I see that. Like, because I remember playing in college, not having much experience, but learning a lot from basically my older brother, Lyle. Right? He taught me everything I knew about football. So, working with him was really a huge part of that. Right? So I remember college times of games I made mistakes and I was like, it kind of crushed me. A couple of the games, I think I cost the game because of a mistake I made. So I remember calling him the day of the game, right after the game, and discussing what I did wrong and feeling like I was just like the worst player ever. And he reassuring me, hey, you're on scholarship there. There's a reason why you're there. Like, this is why we get better, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I remember. And that's what comes to mind when I think about falling apart, because I kind of felt like I was falling apart.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it might not be as traumatic as like a breakup,
Sure.
but in the moment it feels like your life is falling apart because especially if you had a couple games like that in a row. And I remember those days. Yeah. And he was there to lift you up and remind you of why you were there. Yeah.
I mean, there's different degrees of falling apart, right? Sure. But that's just one I remember personally.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Everybody has their own version.
Yes. And he's been a part of our tribe since then, like, or forever, so that's how I know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember, I just have one more, I just had a brain blast. I remember when I started a new job and they hired me to win work.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it almost took me a year to get that first win. Right? That first contract. And my boss at the time, he was the one that was like, hey man, Rome wasn't built in a day. I didn't think you were going to come in here in month 1 and like start crushing it and winning stuff and whatever. It takes long because the process to win a big contract is long. And I was like, oh my God, I just felt so relieved. But at the time I felt like my life was falling apart because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got this new job and they're counting on me, and then I got my first win, and albeit it was a small contract, he was like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. See, I knew I hired you for the right reason. And I was like, oh my God, that made me feel so good. So he helped hold me together in that regard.
Right. But the what was happening was more work was being created.
Yeah.
More like, it was like a ripple effect.
Yeah, it totally was.
So he was like hyping at the beginning. Yeah. Like, knowing that your ability was like, what, 25, 30, he was going to be the 70, right?
Yeah.
And then now eventually you become
then it flip flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was like, I fucking knew it. That's
Yeah.
why I hired you. And I was all, oh my God, thank you so much. Because sometimes you just need that.
Yeah.
You need someone with the outside perspective
Sure.
to hold your shit together when you're falling apart and you're like falling apart at the seams. You know what I mean? So I really appreciated that. So Mark McIntyre, shout out, brother, which was pretty awesome. But I mean, and then okay, so you fall apart, right?
Yeah.
Then comes what? You got to rebuild,
Yeah.
right? So, or maybe they're mutually exclusive, right? You're in the process of like starting something new and you want to rebuild yourself. You're reinventing yourself. You need a friend that's going to be there for you when you're rebuilding yourself
Yeah.
and like hyping you up.
Yeah.
Like this is a great idea.
Sure.
Or they'll tell you, yeah, that's not a good idea.
Right.
But here's why.
Sure.
Not a hater going, yeah, you're not going to make it. The statistics,
not
they
that.
say that.
Yeah.
Not that friend. The friend we're talking about, which is number 2, when you're rebuilding yourself, that friend is going to show up for you no matter what. Right? So I know for myself, which you reminded me of. So it's funny that I just had that brain blast about Mark, was when I left, I had a job where I was in the public sector. So I worked for a government entity, right, in PR. And when I left, I went to be a private consultant. So, and it's really crazy in the consulting world. If you guys are in consulting, you'll understand what I'm talking about. In my consulting world, if you didn't win work, they didn't want to hire you. So they want you to win work, and then the client pays your salary. It's convoluted. But here's where I'm going with this. I go from a steady job where I get my paycheck every other Friday, like clockwork. I can sit on my ass. Government employees, you know what I'm talking about. You sit on your ass. Thank God we didn't have TikTok back then. I never would have got anything done. And you take your lunch and then you go. Everything is like a safe job, right? Because you work for a government, agency. You have good benefits and this, that, whatever. Right. But I wanted to make more money. I felt like I was not growing at this job. So I went. Mark hired me. We did the whole, consulting thing. Yeah. And as I'm rebuilding myself, I was scared out of my mind.
Right.
Just bought a house, just had a baby, all this crazy stuff. Right. You started a whole new career path. It was just chaos in the Off-Wallow tribe, okay, for a while. But as I was rebuilding myself, you were my hype man. Yeah. The kids were like, you got this, mommy. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be doing a lot of hours and I'm not going to be at home. Like when you're in a government job, you're 9 to 5, you come home, you get to go to everything. Yeah. And I explained it to the girls, and Donovan was barely born. And they were like, we support you, even at that young age when they were in junior high. And I was like, God damn, I'm so lucky to have my family. But they showed up for me as friends, Yeah. And that's what you want to look for in a friend.
Because then, my story is about when I was done playing football. And I couldn't play football anymore. So like when I was playing football, I grew my hair out long. And I felt like it was like a part of my identity when I was playing football. I loved.
You were like Samson.
Yeah, I love the fact that I had long hair playing football. So it was kind of fun, So when there was no more football, I was going through like I don't know, you can call it depression.
I know, it truly was. It was the shock and awe of it all.
Yeah, I shaved it all off.
Well, you shaved it off, or I shaved it off?
Well, I decided to shave it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We donated the hair.
Yeah.
And we'll put a picture up here of, Tate with his long hair. Because when he had his long hair and it was sticking out of his helmet, that was before Troy Polamalu. That was before any of that stuff. So it was kind of like jarring for people in Texas to see his hair and then see it sticking out of a helmet. They were like, what? So that you connected the two, football and hair. Yeah. Right? Because you got
to... my identity,
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it's taken away.
Yeah. The football was taken away.
Yeah, the football was taken away. I just said, let's just shave it off. And I to be honest, never thought I would ever cut it ever.
No, I know.
Thought it was like.
So much to my surprise, you guys, he wakes me up at 3 a.m. and says, I'm going to shave off my head, all my hair. I'm going to shave my head bald. Yeah. And I said, I'm sorry, what? I go, yeah, that's funny. And I rolled back over and he goes, okay, if you don't do it, I will. And I go, what? So I jumped up. Yeah. And then I was the friend who said, let's fucking go then.
Yeah, let's go.
And we cut your hair and I cut it in a way that we could donate it. Yeah. and then
Shave the bald.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I just jumped into all these different, trying to find out a career or whatever.
Well, then you became a teacher and like all this stuff. But that was a pivotal moment for him because he needed to shake shit up. He was like, I'm so mad that I got cut in the NFL due to an injury. Yeah. By the way, they treat you like cattle there. They don't care. They don't prepare you for that, especially they don't prepare you for that emotionally or mentally. Sure. So when that happened, I was like, I'm going to show up. It's 3 a.m. I'm cutting his hair, making it, all nice. And we went to sleep. Well, first of all, we cried together. Sure. We laid down and I cried with you because I was, it was just as shocking for me as it was for you. And when you woke up in the morning, you said you felt 10 times lighter. And I go, well, yeah, you're bald. We just shaved off 10 pounds of hair. And he's like, no, and I just remember you thinking,
something better is coming,
Yeah.
Like, let's start something new. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm over it.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to start fresh.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so, we're not telling you to go shave your head bald if something traumatic happens to you.
Just sharing my experience.
Yeah, and we're also just saying, sometimes you just need a fresh start. Yeah. And the ones you love and your ride or dies, your friends, they need to show up for you in that moment. I could have easily said, oh my gosh, no, your hair's so beautiful. Let's not do that. And I was just like, okay, let's go. Yeah. Whatever you want and whatever's going to get you through this pain point right now, I'm fucking here for you. Yeah. So you need a friend that's like that. Yeah.
That's your tribe, man. That's your peeps.
Exactly. Again, I didn't ask any questions. He said, if you don't cut it, I will. Whoop. I woke up like a, what do you call it? Like Dracula out of a coffin. I was all, okay, I'm here. What are we doing? Because I was like, I don't want you to go through that by yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were in the bathroom together. So, but that leads us to number 3.
Yes. Right? When you had multiple plot twists throughout your life.
Now listen, some of you guys are really young that watch our show, and we thank you for that. We're so excited, and we're hoping this advice can help you. Sure. Some of you guys have been around the block a couple times, like us.
Like us, exactly.
We've been around a lot of blocks, and shit happens. Life happens. Things that you thought would never happen. A plot twist, cut off 10 pounds of hair. Yeah. Right. A death in the family, you have a baby, anything that's like you weren't expecting, maybe you didn't plan.
Wasn't part of the plan.
Plan. Shook you up. You weren't expecting something to happen, good or bad.
Right. The good old monkey wrench. Ba-bang.
And just jacking shit up, man. Yeah. So you want that friend. That's number 3. When you have had multiple plot twists throughout your life, you want that person there with you, right? Good, bad, or indifferent.
So share your.
So, one of my best friends, she's actually my number 1 best friend, Evelyn. Shout out, Ev. That girl, I can't even explain to you how precious this person is to me. Not just to me, but to a lot of people. So selfless, so kind, so thoughtful, has a memory of an elephant, which I appreciate, and has just been served up the biggest plot twist of her entire life. And that was the passing of her son, Sean, shortly after he turned 1. And I can't tell you, first of all, what a plot twist. I don't wish that upon anyone. And the bravery and the courage that her and Brian had throughout all of that was fucking insane. And I admire them both so much for going through that the way they did. But I can tell you, some of the people that were around that time were fucking awful. And here's what I mean. We had one person who cried uncontrollably in front of Evelyn when it first happened. Shut the fuck up, dude. This is what I'm talking about, centering yourself in someone else's life. When that person needs you to show up for them and not make it about you, this is what I'm talking about. So this girl cried all the time when she was around Ev. Listen, I cried more during that time than I have in my entire life combined. But I didn't do it in front of Ev. And you know why? It's not about me. It's about Evelyn. It's about Brian. It's about their kids, right? And so when she did that, I wanted to I wanted to clothesline her. like a WWE, just, Or what do they call it when you pile drive someone on their neck? Go on top of their head. Yeah. I wanted to do that to her so many times, right? So I was that friend who I cried with her, and then it was time for me to shut the fuck up and just be there for her, right? Oh, honey, are you tearing up?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, me too. I'm trying not to. But my point is, I showed up. We did chores. We did we all banded together. In fact, our entire family, right? And her entire family. And we all banded together. Okay. That was one part of the twist. The other part was some of the other awful fucking people were at work. And one of them said, I mean, I know you like went through some stuff and shit, but like, when are you coming back to work? What? Huh? When she told me that, I almost chose violence that day. And I almost ended up in jail because I know who this person was that said it. And I said, oh my God. So of course I'm like telling her everything's gonna be okay and blah, blah, blah. And then I encouraged her because we went to lunch and she told me this. And it wasn't until months after that person had said that to her. And I said, hey, quick question. Why are you still working there? Why are you still working there? What does it bring to your life? You haven't had any time to grieve. And she was like, you know what? And we were having cocktails in the middle of the day. And she said, fuck it. And she literally, as we're seeing that, she got on her phone and she put in her resignation. And she has had time to heal now. Will she ever be 100% healed? No. But I'm that friend who showed up and said, fuck those people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not, I'm not saying that because I'm flexing. I'm just saying this is the kind of friend you guys need to be.
Sure.
When your friends need you or your family needs you like that. Would you agree?
I would. That's how you know it's your tribe, man. That's what it's going to do for you right there. It's a good example.
Also, too, sidebar, part of that is like you want to fight everybody for your friend.
Yeah. Jeez. That's a given. Come on.
That's me. That's me, man. Oh, anyway. So that's what I think about when, when you have someone who's had multiple plot twists in their lifetime and you show up the way they need you to show up. And sometimes that's just showing up and shutting the fuck up and just sitting there. That's it. They just know you're sitting right next to them. You don't have to talk. Whatever this situation is, you don't always have to try to make people feel better. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
I do. Like,
sometimes you can't fix it.
No. Well, you're not going to be able to do anything in that moment. Of course not. But sometimes you just need to sit there and be quiet and just like feel it, I guess, like with them.
Yeah.
And just listen, like, I don't know. It's hard because you want to fix it right away.
Because you love them so much. Yeah. And we get that. Yeah. I get that. Trust me.
Yeah. But that's like, you got to be kind of like patient. Yeah.
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 I sent Ev, it was a TikTok. It was about Simon Sinek, or it's from Simon Sinek, and he said, when your friend has a plot twist, like I just talked about right now, they don't want you to fix it, right? And he said, think about them being stuck in the mud, or being stuck in quicksand.
Oh yeah, I heard this. Go ahead, please.
Right,
it's good.
Being stuck in quicksand. Sometimes they don't want you to pull them out, or if not quicksand, mud. You're in mud, and they're stuck, and they don't want you to pull them out. They want you to get in the mud with them. And so I sent it to her. Woo, I'm like tearing up.
Yeah.
And I said, I forwarded it to her, and I said, I'll always sit in the mud with you. My turn. Shit. Hey, it took me 17 episodes to get to this point. But it's true.
It don't matter how long.
It's true. It's be that friend that will sit in the mud with your friend until they're ready to get out. And they won't get out until they're ready. You can't pull them out. You got to just wait. And then when they're ready to get out, then you get out with them. And then you help them out. Jesus Christ. Ay. Anyway.
Let's go to the next one. I can't do this.
Guess what? I knew this was going to be a tearjerker, so look what I brought. Ooh.
Yeah, let's go.
Here. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I want to post this now, man. It's going to ruin my street cred. Ooh. Anyway, so be that friend that's going to sit in the mud with your friend, okay? When they've had multiple plot twists throughout their life. So, and then you had one, right?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
No, bitch, if I cried, you have to cry. Jeez Louise.
No, I'll share mine.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my kids, when both my parents passed away, both times. I mean, separate of each other, but having them pass away was hard. And I just remember the kids always being there for me, since you, of course, but I'm just saying the kids, I just, especially like the last one with my mom, Donovan going with me because he's the only one that could at the time, and was the perfect one to go with because he's so even kill, like I really needed that, And then of course, when my father passed away, all the kids and their support and the way they were patient with me, letting me do my thing,
Yeah, letting you grieve the way you need to grieve.
Yeah. That was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny too, and if you guys have parents or people who are parental figures, it's funny because we're always thinking about parents being there for their kids, but when they turn around and pay it forward to you, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, feels good.
So, if you are raising your kids right, they will pay it forward to you when you need them for emotional support. So that brings us, after being blubbering idiots, that brings us to number 4.
Yeah.
And this one's a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. You want to be the friend who believes your friend can do it. So here's what I mean by that. When no one else believed in you, your friend believed in you. Every time. Without fail, they showed up for you and believed in everything that you did or said you were going to do, even if it was some wild pie in the sky dream. You want to be the friend that's like, oh yeah, you're going to totally do that. You're going to accomplish that. You're going to be so successful in that. And even if you think you're the friend, and even if you think in your head, man, I don't know, that's a big dream. That's a big ask. Use your inner voice. Keep that in here, and just always show that friend that you believe in them. You will never know the impact until you actually watch it happen when you're there. So I just mentioned my former boss, Mark McIntyre, when he said, "Girl, Rome wasn't built in a day." I still think about that, and that was over. Holy crap! That was over 14 years ago.
No,
that was
pretty cool.
That was in 2010. That's how actually it's 2011, so it was 13 years ago. That's how much of an impact it had on me.
Yeah.
Because he believed in me.
I know.
And he literally told me, I wouldn't have spent all that money hiring you and then letting you bring your best friend Evelyn too and giving you both cars and this and that if I didn't think that I wasn't going to get my return on investment in spades.
Yeah.
And I still remember that 13 years later.
No.
That's incredible.
That's such a huge burst of confidence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I took that confidence and just whooped everybody's ass the next 8 years after that, 7 years after that, because one person believed in me at that moment, right? But for me, when I think about this, I think about the ultimate friend that has always done this for me my entire life is you.
Yeah.
You're all, You have been the one who's always believed in me. I mean, and I came from a childhood where nobody believed in me. Everybody thought I was too loud, too much, too much everything. And always said, you're never going to go to college. You're never going to graduate. What do you think? What do you mean you want to be a lawyer? You're never going to be a lawyer. I have heard you can't, you won't, you will never. When pigs fly. I remember that one like it was yesterday. Sure. And that's the first time I ever heard that term said to me by one of my dad's ex-girlfriends. But I was 7 years old when I heard that.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's no chance in hell. I've heard that my entire life, and I think that's why I'm an overachiever. Because I was like, I just want to prove everybody wrong.
Right.
But when I met you, I never heard that from you. I always heard, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Or, oh, man, that makes me nervous. But if anybody can do it, you can. And I'm like, huh? What? And, because when you're so used to hearing negativity your whole life,
Sure.
it just becomes a part of your vernacular and it becomes a part of your belief system. And you start believing what you hear all the time. And then when someone says something to the opposite of that, you're like in disbelief.
Right.
I can't believe this person really thinks. Why? Why do they think that? And then all of a sudden you're like, and then you start self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
But you've always been there for me to tell me, oh yeah, of course, duh. And with such genuine, like truthful, like just words that came out of your mouth. I just felt like it was real. Like I never doubted what you were telling me.
Sure.
And that gave me the lady balls to go do what I do. And you always tell me, I don't know how you do stuff. I don't know how you say you're going to do something and then you just go do it. And now you don't just do it. You knock it out of the park. You always tell me that. And I'm like, well, it's, and maybe I don't say it enough, but it's because I know you're always behind me. And I know you're always going to be behind me to catch me when I fall. Because it will happen. I've fallen a lot, a lot. And you are always there. And then that brings us back to number one. When you're falling apart, you want someone to hold you together.
Yeah.
And that's always been you. So thank you for that, honey.
Thank you.
All right. Don't make it weird. Oh, now you went and made it weird. All right.
Well, for me, I was going to say you. I was always like, I'm not sure what I want to do. Playing football, you were a huge impact on me. So it's like everything I basically did, you were like, hey, man, you can do it. We had numerous conversations. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I can do this, Sheriff, remember that one?
Yeah. I was kind of harsh on you on that one, but that was the only way you would listen to me. You ever have that friend, you're like, no, it's because you're like, no. Well, how about you try this? No, that's not going to work. And you're like, all right, you know what? Why am I even here? Like, why are you even telling me any of this? But I'm a good friend. Yeah. So I weathered the storm. And then sometimes you just got to knock some sense into you.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
Life-changing. Because once we had that, it was a done deal.
Yeah, because he got mad at me. He goes, I'll show you. I'm all good. Go show me. Go on. I'm waiting. So, which brings us to number 5.
Yes.
You want that friend that they want more for you than they want from you, right? Yeah. They want you to win.
Yeah.
They want you to do something new and exciting and scary. Yeah. They want you to go, ask that person out or whatever. They want everything, all the good things for you.
And nothing.
And they nothing in return. Yeah. And then when you have a friend like that, you want to give them everything. Yeah. They give you everything. You want to give them everything. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful thing when you can find that person. And guess what? This is for all my young folks out there. You're not going to have many of those.
No.
I promise you that. I have 2. If you don't count my immediate family.
Sure.
You don't count my girls, you don't count my son, and you don't count Tate. I have 2 of those friends in my life right now. That's it. So if you're young and you're watching this and you're in college and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 18 friends and whatever, guess what? Spoiler alert. Maybe you'll have 2 of those friends, maybe 1, maybe 3, but no more than 5. That's impossible, at least in my lifetime. But you want that.
Yeah, of course.
But don't be sad if you don't have that. If you just have one good friend like that, like my Evelyn, you will be set for life.
For me, it was one of my really good friends, Criss Gonzalez. Yeah, he's always wanted more for me and nothing in return, always.
Yeah, and we've known Criss for over 30 years.
Before the girls.
Before kids. Yeah. When we're all young and dumb, working at Costco.
Yeah, he's always been there. He was always my hype man, too. He falls in that category. He falls into all of these we just recently talked about, you know?
So we'll talk about that later because I want to talk about number 6.
Yes.
Which is a best friend, a true friend will never let you dim your light to fit in.
Correct.
And I can attest to that.
Sure.
I've done that many a times. Have you?
Same.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When have you dimmed your light?
Well, I've always stood out when I was a kid. As a tall kid, I was always as tall as a kid. So I didn't want to stand out. So I always just try to slump whenever they took pictures. And I didn't want to be the guy that stood out, you know? And I think it was that back then more so as an introvert. but also I had, you know, I don't know, maybe like social anxiety in there somewhere. And, you know, I remember my dad always telling me, be humble, you know, as a kid, you know, don't brag or anything like that. So with all that, I think it kind of helped me, make me dim my light a little bit, you know, where I think it would have benefited me in becoming better socially, and then probably playing better.
If you had a friend like that to help you kind of like be who you really were.
Right. At the time, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I mean.
So have you ever had a friend to do that for you?
Yeah, of course. My example was you.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Example was you, yes.
I know. I always try to push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, like doing this podcast.
Yeah. Well,
You
it was
know?
your idea, but
What?
I push you every day to do it.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
a struggle every day.
But it's you've seen me do stuff. And you're just constantly reminding me, yeah, I see you do it, man. You could do it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, you know?
And because when you're not in public and you're not in front of a camera, you have so many gifts.
Sure.
And I know what you're capable of. So yes, I do. I'm that guy for him.
Yeah.
I'm that person for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, all my true friends will always, you know, encourage me to do stuff. And, you know, if I say I'm going to do it.
Same.
However, one person that does stick out with this in particular of don't dim your light to fit in was my friend Marnie.
Ooh, wow. Yeah.
So Marnie taught me a lot in the business world. Like she was literally my first, and I've told her this before, and I've actually said this in public, like on a podium when I was receiving awards and stuff. I always shout her out to her because she was the first person who actually mentored me as a woman in a male-dominated industry. And let me tell you, I think I've said this before, some of my worst bosses were women.
Sure.
Right? And so she actually showed me how to or encouraged me to don't dim your light.
Yeah.
Like first one in, last one out. Let's do this. You know, you can do this, and who cares? And you know, who cares if you're loud and outgoing?
Sure.
And you're going up against a firm who has way more experience than you.
Yeah. You
have the skill sets to do X or whatever.
Yeah.
So she was in that regard. When I finally told her, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving the consulting world and I'm starting my own business. She was like, finally, like I've been telling you to do that. Like she wanted me to become her partner.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that because I was too scared. And I finally did it. And she was like, hell yeah. And then we went out to lunch and talked about it and all that good stuff. So I think about her as a friend who wouldn't allow me to dim my light in a really challenging environment.
Yeah.
You know?
Helped out a lot.
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah. So shout out Marnie Primer. Woo. That brings us to number 7, my dear. So this is number 7. Okay.
Let me share mine first.
Wait. Let me say the title first. Okay. Though, like the topic. You want a friend who's going to defend you in rooms that you're not in. What do I mean by that?
Wow.
What do I mean by that? That means, hey, if I'm a good friend to you and I'm in a room that you're not in and there's all these people and then someone starts talking shit on you, I'm going to shut that down so fast.
Yeah.
So what story did you want to tell?
Well, the only one I could think of is when I used to coach football or assist in coaching. And I believe it was one of Donovan's teams.
Oh,
back in Pop Warner days, and I can't remember specifically what the specifics were. I just remember you calling me because I couldn't make this certain meeting after practice. I couldn't make the practice period because I had to work. So you filled in, not for practice, but just to corral the families afterwards and tell them, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And then someone had said something about me during that family practice, said something about me that was untrue, and right away, Noah says, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not." She corrected him. They fixed it, and then I just remember her calling me, "This try to say this shit about you."
Dude, and I wasn't even. I swear to you, I'll give you the details of this. I wasn't even operating as your wife.
No.
No. I was operating as the friend at that moment because it was very simple. He had agreed to be an assistant coach because they all knew he played in the NFL. And it was Donovan's, like, I think, second year in football. And I was the team mom. I think I was a co-team mom.
Co-team mom.
With Jen.
Yeah.
Who's Jen Richardson, by the way, but I always call her Jen B.
B.
And I said, I'll be your but I can't commit to the whole thing.
Sure.
Just like you said, hey, I'll coach, but I can't commit to the whole thing.
Sure.
So this was the understanding.
Yeah.
Jen was the lead, team mom. I was her support. You were, so-and-so was the head coach or whatever, and you were the support. So at the time you were a sheriff.
Sure.
You couldn't make that meeting. And some guy who said, because you guys were going to switch off, right? Because he had a schedule too. So they both had crazy schedules, and they would fill in when the other one wasn't there. Well, the one guy who he was supposed to be your backup, he didn't show up. So some other dad tried it because he wanted to be a coach so bad.
Sure.
And then you guys told him, nah, we're good. We have enough.
Yeah.
And so he was bitter. He tried to talk and say, yeah, like, Tate is just, I just feel like he's not here, so he's being irresponsible and this and that, and he should be here, and sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
I said, this motherfucker. And I was like, pause. That's what I told him.
Sure.
I said, sir, can you pause real quick? I don't know your name, but pause. Stop talking. So for everybody here, and mind you, there's like 40 parents, all the boys, and all the coaches.
Yeah.
I said, that's not true. And I set him straight. And I said, so the guy who was supposed to be here tonight, unfortunately, he couldn't make it either, because he has a sick kid. But yeah, so that's what the story is. And he was like, ooh, felt dumb.
Sure.
But man, was I hot. Like, you motherfucker. Who said you could? So then I was like, and everybody's like, oh, yeah. And then he was ostracized the whole season because everybody was like, not him talking shit on our best coach. And then his wife was crazy. So don't mess with them. It was funny. And afterward, Jen was like, high-five me. She's like, fuck that guy. Like, I'll tell you the lore on this guy. Cheats on his wife, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, whoop. I didn't need to know all that. However, good to know. Putting it in my holster here for the next time. Anyway, you want to be that friend. Yeah. You want to be the friend who's going to stick up for people who are not in the room.
Yeah, that's nice to have, man.
Yeah. So I've done that. And I've had people come up to me and say, hey, so-and-so, and blah, blah, blah. And mind you, we may not be best friends.
Sure.
We might just be acquaintances.
Yeah.
But I like that person.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to come talk shit? So this is what I do. I always say, what about me makes you think that you can talk about that person who I like and is a friend of mine to me? What about me makes you think you can do that? Shuts them down every time. They're so embarrassed. They're like, and then I go, hey, hold that thought. Hey, so-and-so, come here. I've done that one time, and that was the last time I did it because it really made me feel awkward too. But I was so mad. And guess what? Every single time, except for that one time with the cheater, every time that's happened, and I've said that little quote, has been women, and that sucks. That sucks.
It does.
So I shut him down real fast. Oh, you're over here. You're all big with your chest puffed out. Hold on. Let me go grab that person. And then let's see what kind of, keep that energy. Hold that thought. And then I go get that person.
You know what I love about that? Because in my situation is that if I was there, he wouldn't say anything to me.
Shit.
So, so, which says a lot, right? Like, so I love the fact that I'm not there, and this 5'3" girl steps in as if I was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I love about it.
And it's so true. But there's the disparity, right? A big giant man, no one will say anything to his face.
They won't say anything.
When he's in the room. But women will do that about women all the time. And that's the disconnect, right? Yeah. We should all be like, have each other's back. I don't care what gender or how you identify. We should all have each other's backs if you're a real friend. And even if you're not best friends, like Marnie's not my best friend, but she knows what it feels like to come up in the ranks like that. So she was paying it forward to me. And guess what? That taught me that. So then I paid it forward to every woman that came behind me too. Because that's what we should be doing. Yeah. So that's funny. Yeah. And like, it made me feel very uncomfortable. Sure. It makes me feel uncomfortable when it's women because I'm like, what are we? gals, what are we doing? What are we doing? Be serious for once in your life. What the fuck are we doing right now?
Sure.
But when a man does it to me, oh yeah, no, I don't feel bad. I don't feel uncomfortable. I get extra loud. I get extra embarrassing. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
So be that friend. Tell him, or be like my friend Tasha. God rest her soul.
She's got a different technique.
Tashi has had a different technique. Okay, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
She's so quiet all the time.
All the time.
Right? But she listens. She listens.
People like to tell Tashi a lot of stuff.
Tasha is like the vault of secrets of everybody. You want to know any chisme on anybody? You go ask Tashi. Well, you can't ask her now, but when she was here, you could ask her. And if she liked you, she would tell you. But here's the thing. She wouldn't say anything. If she heard people talking shit on me, and it's been a couple times, she won't say anything, but she'll run and tell me.
She's non-confrontational.
She's non-confrontational, and that's okay too.
That's okay.
Right? So she would come tell me, and then I would go ask that person, hey, so a little bird told me. This is what I say. A little bird told me, or word on the street is that you said this about me.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. Yeah, but Tashi would go, and then she would just listen. And some people would think, well, why didn't you say anything? Why? It's okay. I know Noel's going to take care of it. That's not my style.
Yeah,
This is my style.
Yeah. That's Tashi. We knew Tashi.
Fucking
That's her
love
thing.
Tashi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let's go into number 8. Let's see.
They're your forever hype person.
Man, you're here forever. Woo. You can do it. You got this. It doesn't matter if you don't have any money to start a business. Let's just go. You want to be that person.
Before we move on, I just want to say that Noel has been filled every single one of these categories since day one. So I could have totally filled you in on each and every one, but I wanted to spread the love, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, and I love you for that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
That's so kind. You as well.
Thank you.
That's why we're together for so long, guys.
Yeah.
We checked these off because we were friends before we were a couple.
Yeah.
And so we are those people
Yeah.
for each other. So I feel the same way about you.
Yeah.
I know. Every one of these, you guys, I could have said a story about Tate on how he filled that friend role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
honey.
so I wanted to say that really because that's who came up first when that forever hype person was you.
Yeah.
Right away,
I love being the hype person, man. I love it because I love seeing people win.
Yeah.
I'm not that. It always surprises me, and I don't know why.
Right.
When people hate on other people's successes.
I know. I know.
And we just talked about that the other day. Like, hey, your timing in life is different than your friend's timing in life. So if they're winning at that time in your life and you're not, that doesn't mean you get to be a hater.
Okay, so can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Just curious. So, like, if you're watching some success of others and you're like saying, man, I wish, is that hating?
No, I do that all the time.
That's envious, right?
Well, there's jealousy and envious. They both have negative connotations to them.
Sure.
Here's the long answer to your short question.
Sure. Just for a clarification, folks.
No, this is a great question because some people watching this or listening to this are going to ask the same thing.
Sure.
Like, oh my gosh, does that make me a hater? Like when I see people winning and something that I wish I could be doing, that doesn't make me a hater. That makes me, well, for me personally, I go, oh man, that's so awesome. I wish that was me.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think, well, how can I make that happen for me?
Yeah.
If I really want it.
Sure.
I center myself in my own shit and go, okay, I can't say I wish that was me, but yet I'm not doing anything to get there. And this is, I know I'm crazy. I talk to myself all the time. I go, well, wishing is for losers, man. Like, you got to go and do it, right? So I'll give you a perfect example.
Sure.
Jason and Drew have the funniest fucking podcast. And I'm not biased because I am the biggest critic of everybody in this family. They are so funny.
Yeah.
And then hearing it on a podcast, like they're so funny in real life. What you see on the podcast is them all the time being idiots
24/7.
all the time.
24/7. Since they were like,
since they could talk, right?
They had their own language.
It's so fun. It's like twin language, but it's like two idiot girl language,
yeah,
right?
It's so funny.
They're so funny. Then they do a podcast, so funny.
Yeah.
And then I look at that and I go, man. And it's funny, it's educational in its own way, and so funny. And then I go, man, I wish our podcast was that funny or that successful. And then I'm like, okay, to myself, what have you done to get there? You bought all the equipment, but you haven't put it up. You told everybody you were going to do it. You still haven't done it. I talk to myself and I whoop my own ass mentally. Yeah. Right? But that doesn't mean I'm a hater, that I wish that for us. Because I do. And guess what? We're going to get there eventually.
Sure.
It's just a slow burn. Yeah. And especially when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And by the way, they've been doing this for 3 years. Yeah. We've been doing it for 3 months. Yeah. So I don't think that makes me a hater.
Sure.
If I sit there and talk shit.
Sure.
And still don't do anything, even though I really want to do it.
Yeah.
If I do that, then yeah, I'm a hater. But if I want what someone else has, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure. Like, man, I wish. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Right? Or have you ever heard someone go, must be nice?
Yeah. I feel
haters.
like a hater if I said that.
Those are haters. Yeah. Must be nice. Yeah. Man, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky? Huh? Luck is for people who sit on their ass and things just happen to them. That's not the case here. Yeah. We're working hard. We're editing. We're doing this. We're doing that. And I'm just talking about a podcast. No. So if you act like that, you're a hater. But if you don't, and you go, man, that's a dream I also have. Well, what do I need to get it done? And then I do the research, or we.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you'll tell that person, hey, man, congratulations.
Yes.
That is awesome.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Yeah. I wish I could do it.
Yeah. And if you're a good friend, you would say, you can do it.
You can do it.
Here's how I did it. And then you share the information. Yeah. You don't keep it close to the chest unless you're competing and going after one contract or something like that. But you're not competing in the podcast space. Everybody and their mom has a podcast. There's enough work to go around. Yeah. And the hardest workers are going to win. Yeah. The end.
So my forever hype person right now is Anthony.
Nice.
Anthony. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the one that helped you get into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He's the one who showed you all his secrets to his bodybuilding journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like
he doesn't hold anything back.
No, he opened the book and said, hey, man, this is what I'm doing.
And he also was like, hey, man, your podcast is pretty cool. Yeah. Like, your social media is really cool, man. I love every single post you put out. I'm like, man, everybody needs an Anthony. So awesome.
I know.
Right? Not a hater bone in his body. Man. So conversely, my hype person is his wife, Tanya. She's one of the few that I feel so comfortable calling and like, hey man, this is what my kid did today, or this is the award she got today, or this is my son did this today. He learned this new song. Like, and she calls me, this is what Olivia did today, and she got this award, blah. And I'm like, yeah, we're all hyping each other up. You know, she was like, I want to do this, and this. Like, you know what you should do? You should do editing because you have the patience to do that shit. Me, not so much. You should do editing. You would be so good at it. And guess what? She put the work in. Now she's killing it. So if any of you guys need an editor, hit me up. Yeah. I will put you in contact with Tanya. She learned that shit in like 3 days.
She's doing really well.
She's so good at it. You know what I mean? So like, she's my hype person. Yeah. She not a hater bone in her body. She will compliment you. She will tell you how awesome your last video was. Your kids, I saw your kids' video. This is so awesome. I'm so happy for them. The end.
The end.
Nothing expecting, nothing in return. No. So cool. And the fact that they're married, bonus.
I know.
Then we get to hang out with them and drink tequila. It's pretty awesome. And hype each other up.
Yeah, constantly. That's how all our conversations are.
Don't be a high maintenance friend. Or be the friend that is not high maintenance. Yeah. So when I say, hey man, let me call you back real quick. And my friend goes, okay, that's code for I'll call you back in 2 weeks when I remember. Because I have adult ADHD and I will not remember. Right. But don't hold that against me. Just like I don't hold against you. I invite you to every party and you never come.
Right. A great example is going to the Camachos yesterday. We showed up at what the time we were set.
Because we've talked about this, people. We're perpetually late. We try and try and try. We're perpetually late. However, yesterday we were on time.
On time. And they said, we expected you at 3. And then we were very happy that they know us.
We came there. Anthony wasn't even there. Tanya was like, oh, I didn't know, like shocked that we were, I go, did Anthony not tell you we were coming over today for lunch? And then, no, he did, but you guys are always 3 hours late. And I said, the fact that you guys know that and still want to hang out with us is awesome. That is so awesome. I love that so much.
Great example.
Yeah. Like I invite Ev to every party.
Sure.
She comes out, she comes to 1 out of every 10.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If something happens, maybe she's not having a good day. Sometimes we're not in a good headspace. And trust me, you don't, when I'm in a not good headspace, you don't want me to hang around you at your child's party. I will not be a good time, I promise. But I don't hold it against her.
No.
Just like she doesn't hold against me. She invites me to a lot of places too, and sometimes I don't go. So it's just
high maintenance. Don't be that guy.
It's exhausting. And here's the other thing. If you are a high maintenance friend and you hold everything against, you keep that tally mark, and you keep tabs on what they did for you and what they didn't do for you, you got to take a step back and ask, why do I do that?
Yeah.
Why do I do that?
Sure.
That tells me you have some kind of childhood trauma, some abandonment issues, some codependency issues. Not me therapizing all of you guys. You got something going on because chill people don't do that, man.
No.
So you got something going on. And listen, we all got a lot going on.
Sure.
I got the most going on up here in this noggin over here. However, I just know that I don't want people to be high maintenance to me. So I don't want to be high maintenance to you.
Because I know how it makes you feel.
Does that make sense? Wait, did I say that right? Yeah. I don't want you to be a high maintenance friend to me. So I won't be that to you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you seen that TikTok girl who does, she talks about inspirational stuff and she goes, catch it.
No.
She's so awesome. First time I saw it, immediately sent it to my friend Roz, Miss Roz. Love you, Miss Roz. But that's what we're telling you right here. Be that person. Be everything we talked about today, all 9 points. Be that person. Catch it. That means you are going to be it. If you
Message.
catch it, if you catch it, that means you're going to be it, right? All right. Well, I guess that brings us to
the quote of the day.
Woo. Okay, so listen. This quote of the day is so cute.
Yeah.
It's the acronym for friends, right? FRIENDS. Okay. And I'm just going to read it to you.
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to put the little meme up here. You want someone who's going to fight for you, who's going to respect you, who's going to include you, who's going to encourage you, who needs you, who deserves you, and who will stand by you. So awesome. Oh, not me getting tearing up because I think about everybody in my life who I consider a true friend, a true ride or die. This is ride or die right here.
Yeah.
And it just makes me tear up because I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
For everybody, and you know who you are. My children, you included. You know who you are, and I'm so grateful for you guys.
So very, very grateful.
You complete me, and I love you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys following us, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We are so grateful.
Yeah.
And
we'd love to hear who those are for you too.
Yeah.
If you don't mind
tag
sharing.
your friend.
Yeah.
Tag your friend
Tell
or
them.
friends.
Let them know.
Yeah, and say, hey, I thought of you because you are this friend to me.
To me. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So we love you guys. Thank you for joining us for episode number 17. If you're not already and you just stumbled upon us, we thank you for joining us and sitting through the whole episode. And remember to like, follow, and share. And follow us. And
we'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.